Hey guys, welcome to the third section of working on our right hand here. Now we're gonna step it up a bit, and instead of just playing on the adjacent strings like that, we're gonna start to go to strings that are further apart. So we're gonna skip strings in between. So for example, from a G, we'll go all the way down to the A, or from that G, we'll go to the E, skipping everything in between, or crossing over to strings that are more distant. Okay. And so therefore, actually, this practice is called string skipping or string crossing. Great. Now, another thing we're going to do is we're going to start to play with a drone string. And what I mean by that is we're going to get a drone string for ourselves. For example, I'm going to choose this G string here to be my drone string. And I'm going to play that string, and then I'm going to play something else. I'm going to come back to the drone string, play something else, come back to the drone string, play something else, and carry on like that for a little while, or make an exercise out of this kind of thing. And the reason why I'm actually doing this, or giving this kind of exercise to you already, because you will find that when you start to play bass lines, and you start to play through scales, arpeggios, and lines that are made out of arpeggios and scales, there will be so many times when you'll have a drone string, be that the A, the D, the G, the E, whatever, but the G, it happens a lot on the G. When you play that G string, and then you'll have to cross to a lower string, and then maybe play that G again, cross back to a lower string, play the G again, cross back over to a lower string, play the G again, you know, that kind of thing. So for example, that was like a G to B, so for that kind of motion, to really start to put that into our right hand already is a really great thing to do. Okay, now before we get onto the exercises, let me just remind you how important it is to work on your right hand. You know, this really is the engine of your work, of your playing on the bass, and your time playing, your feel, your rhythmic precision, your rhythmic playing. You know, it so much depends on the ability of your right hand. You know, so really work on it. Work through these exercises, all of them that are up here, and make up your own. And also, as we go on, actually, I'm going to give you some more stuff to do with your right hand as we go through playing scales, playing arpeggios, and all that. And we'll work on our rhythmic divisions, you know, from crotchets to quavers and semiquavers, or quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, and so on. We'll go through all of that stuff. There'll be some really great things to work on with your right hand again. But for now, I think these exercises should really set you up really well, and to be on your way with your right hand. And just use your imagination and make up your own stuff as well. So the more you practice, the more variation you do, the better. Okay, all right, you guys. So with all that said and done, let's get into the exercises, and let's start with exercise number 1. Starting with our G string. With our first finger, we'll play a G, an A with our second finger, and now repeat it, G first, A with your second, now down to your D string with the first finger, and to the E with your second. So repeat that, D first, E second, and now we'll come back from the E all the way up to the D, to your first finger, repeat that, E second finger, D with your first finger, and now from the A second finger up to the G first finger, A second finger, G first finger, like that. Now the second part of the exercise, we're going to assign our first finger to the G string, and our E string will be played by our second finger here. So we'll play the G twice with our first finger, now play the E twice with our second finger, and now back, play the E twice, and then the G twice with our first finger. And now play them one at a time. G first finger, E second finger, G first finger, E second finger, and then E second finger, G first finger, E second finger, G first finger, like that. So that is the exercise number 1. Let me just play it to you in its whole length, uninterrupted. So here it goes in a nice, comfortable tempo again. 3, 4. Great, that was exercise number 1. Now in exercise number 2, we'll do some more string crossing, and we'll do it in some different patterns and with some different variations. So again, we'll start on the G string with our first finger. So G first finger, down to the A, again first on the G, down to the A with your second finger, and now we'll go down to the E with your second finger and up to the D with your first, and again second on the E, D with your first finger. And now we'll play the D with our first finger, down to the E, D again first, E second finger, and I will go up to the A string, second finger, and up to the G, first finger, A, T, G, first finger. And now we'll even give it a bit more of a variation again. So the second half of the exercise will be G, first finger, A, second finger, now right away to the E, second finger, up to the D, first finger, and now from the E to the D to your first finger, to the A, second finger, up to the G, first finger, and then to conclude from the E, second finger, D, first finger, G, first finger, A, second finger, D, first finger, E, second finger, A, second finger, and up to the G. So as you can tell, I kind of crammed in a considerable amount of variation into just this one 8-bar exercise here. So let me play the exercise number 2, all the way through in a nice, slow practicing tempo. Okay, so here it goes. 3, 4. Great. Now let's get on to exercise number 3. Now exercise number 3 is the one with the drone string, and I will assign different strings at different times, and we'll start with the G string. So the G will be our drone string in the first instance. So we'll start on that G, carry on down to a D with your second finger, and the G will be played with the first finger all the time. And back to the G first finger and down to the A second finger. Now back to the G first finger and down to the E second finger, and then back to the G again, down to the E, back to the G, down to the A, back to the G, and then down to the D. So as you could see, we kind of got away from that G string, came down as low as possible, and then came back up to it. And now we'll assign the E string as your drone, and we'll start to get away from it and come back to it again. So the E will be played by your second finger all the time, and then the other strings will be played by your first finger. So second finger on the E, first on the A, second finger on the E, first on the D, second on the E, first on the G, and now again back to the drone, second on the E, first on the G, second on the E, first on the D, second on the E, and first on the A. Okay. Now let me play that to you again, just quite slowly, so you can take a look at it and have a listen and start practicing it yourself. And when you practice it, come back to the video and play it with me. Okay, so here it is. Let's count it in a nice slow tempo. 3, 4. And that was exercise number 3.